Ever get that feeling? You know that feeling like you're standing on the edge of something big, something about to like totally change the game. That's what UK free ports feel like right now.
Yeah.
A real turning point in how we think about trade, innovation, even whole regions,
Right.
Today, we're diving deep into the heart of this whole Freeport buzz.
Okay.
And trust me, it's a lot more interesting than just like dry economic policy might sound.
Right. Yeah.
Think of it like this. Imagine a zone where goods are basically like on pause when it comes to taxes.
Yeah.
That's a free port in a nutshell.
Right.
A designated area with special customs rules that make it a magnet for businesses. But as with anything this impactful, there's a whole lot more to it than meets the eye. Thankfully, we have our expert here to help us navigate this complex world, understand what's at stake, and maybe even uncover a few surprises along the way. Now, free ports aren't exactly a new idea in the UK, are they? They've had their moment in the spotlight before.
Yeah, that's true. Freeports have a surprisingly cyclical history in the UK.
Look.
Their story goes all the way back to the 1980s under Margaret Thatcher.
Right.
These early freeports, however, were met with mixed results.
Okay.
And ultimately faded from view by 2012.
That's right, yeah. So before we get into their resurgence, what led to their decline back then? Why didn't they take off in the Thatcher era?
Well, some argue that those early attempts lacked the ambition and the regulatory freedom needed to truly flourish. There's a compelling argument that EU regulations at the time played a part in limiting their success.
Okay, so despite being championed by Thatcher, these early free ports never quite reached their full potential. Yet here we are, decades later, witnessing their comeback. What sparked this renewed interest in free ports?
Interestingly enough, the seeds for this Freeport revival were sown back in 2016. A certain someone, who would later become Chancellor of the Exchequer, penned a compelling white paper advocating for their return in a post-Brexit UK. That someone was Rishi Sunak.
Right.
And he saw Freeports as a powerful tool for job creation and economic growth.
Okay.
He even predicted they could create up to 86,000 new jobs.
86,000 jobs.
Yeah.
That's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
So this wasn't just a passing thought for Sunak. He had a clear vision for how free ports could reshape the UK's economic landscape.
Absolutely. And this viewing wasn't just theoretical.
Okay.
Fast forward to the Conservative victory in the 2019 general election.
Right.
And Freeports were right back on the agenda.
Okay.
With Sunak now as Chancellor, the government launched a bidding process.
Wow.
Regions across the UK were vying for the chance to host these potentially transformative economic zones.
A bidding war. It sounds like these free ports must offer like more than just a simple tax break to generate that kind of excitement. What's the real appeal for these regions? What's in it for them?
It's about much more than just tax breaks.
Okay.
Freeports are designed to be catalysts for change, drivers of three core aims set out by the government: regeneration, global trade, and innovation.
Okay, let's break those down one by one.
Sure.
First up, regeneration. How exactly can free ports like breathe new life into struggling regions?
Imagine a community that's seen its industrial base decline, jobs disappear, and investment just dry up.
Right.
A free port, strategically located in such an area, offers a powerful incentive for businesses to set up shop.
Okay.
They might be drawn by the tax benefits, the simplified customs procedures, or the potential for government support.
Right.
This influx of businesses can lead to new jobs, revitalize infrastructure, and a much-needed boost to the local economy.
It's like hitting the reset button on these areas, giving them a chance to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
But what about the global trade aspect? How do free ports position the UK as a trade hub, especially in a post-Brexit world?
That's where the suspended animation concept comes into play.
Suspended animation.
Yeah, think of a high-end coffee maker arriving in the Teesside Freeport.
Okay.
It's technically in the UK.
Right.
But it won't face import taxes until it leaves the Freeport to be sold in a London shop.
Okay, so it's in the UK, but it's not really. It's like this weird.
It's in limbo.
Yeah, it's in limbo.
Exactly. Okay, this encourages businesses to import assemble or even manufacture goods within the Freeport zone,
Okay.
taking advantage of the simplified customs procedures and the delay in paying tariffs.
So it creates a sort of trade-friendly bubble
Yeah.
that makes the UK a more attractive destination for international businesses.
Exa-
And to be clear, we're not just talking about any goods here.
Right.
This also extends to the free flow of ideas.
Right, absolutely. The third aim, fostering innovation, is all about creating an ecosystem where new ideas can flourish.
Huh?
Freeports are intended to attract cutting-edge industries, research and development facilities, and highly skilled workers.
Okay.
Take the East Midlands Airport, Freeport, for instance.
Right.
They've secured funding to develop a hydrogen skills academy, positioning themselves at the forefront of green technology and attracting businesses in that sector.
That's a great example of how Freeports can be about much more than just moving like goods around. They can be hubs for developing new technologies, training workforces for the future, and driving innovation across various sectors. But let's get back to the physical for a second.
Sure.
How large are these Freeports? Are we talking sprawling cities or more contained zones?
Well, there's a limit.
Okay.
Though it might be bigger than you think.
Okay.
The maximum diameter of a UK Freeport is 45 kilometers.
45 kilometers.
So to put that in perspective, that's roughly the size of the area within London's M25 motorway.
That's quite a significant footprint.
It is.
And to help them hit the ground running, each Freeport receives 25 million pounds in seed funding. With that kind of investment and ambition, it seems like the government is really banking on Freeports to deliver on their promise.
There's certainly a lot riding on them, and the stakes are high.
Yeah.
However, this level of investment and the very nature of Freeports have also attracted their fair share of criticism.
It's understandable that a project as ambitious as Freeports, with so much government backing, would invite scrutiny. What are some of the concerns being raised about them?
The criticisms are multifaceted.
Okay.
And come from various groups like opposition parties, trade unions, and think tanks.
Right.
They raise important questions about potential downsides that are worth considering.
What's the biggest concern they're highlighting?
One major worry is the potential for Freeports to become tax havens.
Okay.
Critics argue that the relaxed tax regulations, while intended to attract businesses, could be exploited for tax avoidance and evasion, right, ultimately depriving the UK government of revenue needed for public services.
That concern ties in with the East Midlands Airport example we discussed earlier.
Right.
They're making a significant investment with the hopes of attracting international business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a prime example of the high stakes and potential for both economic growth and financial maneuvering within these zones. Are there concerns about goods flowing through these Freeports, given the simplified customs procedures?
Absolutely. That's another concern frequently raised, the potential for smuggling.
Okay.
The worry is that these zones could become hubs for illicit trade with counterfeit goods.
Right.
Or in more extreme cases even illegal substances or weapons slipping through the cracks.
So we've got concerns about potential tax havens and smuggling. What other red flags are being waved?
The third major concern revolves around workers' rights.
Okay.
Critics argue that the drive to attract businesses and create jobs, while positive in many ways, could come at the expense of labor standards.
Right.
This could mean lower wages, fewer benefits, and less secure work environments.
It's a classic dilemma, balancing economic growth with worker protections. It sounds like there are valid concerns on both sides of this debate. Have any prominent figures or groups come out strongly against Freeports?
Definitely, and the source material you shared includes some very, very strong words.
Okay.
The Labour Party, for example, didn't hold back.
Right.
Labeling Freeports as job destroying.
Wow.
Highlighting their concern about potential negative impacts on employment.
That's a powerful statement,
Yeah.
accusing a policy designed to boost the economy of actually costing jobs.
Yeah.
What other criticisms have been voiced?
The Liberal Democrats were also highly critical,
Okay.
warning that without strict oversight, the UK could become the world capital of money laundering
Yeah.
due to the nature of free ports.
World capital of money laundering is a startling accusation. It seems like there's a real fear that free ports could become a haven for illicit activities. It paints a stark contrast to the picture of innovation and regeneration that the government is promoting. It'll be interesting to see how these concerns are addressed as free ports develop.
Absolutely, and it's not just a theoretical debate anymore.
Right.
These concerns are playing out in real time as these free ports take shape.
Right.
Alongside the East Midlands Airport project, we see other developments like the project in Liverpool on a former Rolls-Royce factory site.
Okay.
This project embodies the potential for free ports to breathe new life into old industrial spaces.
Right.
However, it also raises questions about whether this regeneration will truly benefit the local community,
Okay.
or if it might lead to displacement and gentrification.
You've touched on some great examples of the complexities surrounding free ports. The potential for revitalization is there, but so are the risks of these projects, primarily benefiting corporations and investors,
Right.
potentially leaving behind the very communities they were meant to help.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this tension is further highlighted by the potential development of a brand new steel plant in Teesside.
Right.
This project is being heralded as a potential win for UK manufacturing, a sector that Freeports aim to revive.
Yeah.
However, it also raises questions about the environmental impact of such a large-scale industrial project,
Right.
especially in the context of growing concerns about climate change. It seems like the UK's Freeport experiment is a story still being written, full of potential, but also riddled with uncertainty and valid concerns. It'll be fascinating to see how these zones evolve and what impact they ultimately have on the UK's economic and social fabric.
It certainly will be, and it's not just a story for the UK.
Yeah.
The concept of green ports, a term gaining traction in Scotland, highlights the growing global interest in making free ports more environmentally sustainable.
Green ports is an intriguing concept. It begs the question: Can a concept so focused on economic growth, often associated with increased production and consumption, truly be environmentally friendly?
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Finding a way to balance economic development with environmental responsibility is a challenge that extends far beyond free ports. As we watch this fascinating and complex chapter unfold, it's a question we should all be asking ourselves. How can we create a future where economic prosperity goes hand in hand with a healthy planet? It's a question that will require innovative thinking, collaboration, and a willingness to challenge the status quo, not just within the boundaries of free ports, but in every aspect of our globalized world.